Welcome to part 4 of Fasting for Beginners. Today we're going to learn about lengthening your fast, aka fasting for longer. If you've been following along since part 1, you should already have a solid foundation of fasting basics, which should include a string of consistent fasts under your belt at this point, no matter the length, as well as what to drink and being mindful of your refeed times. But the questions or the comments I see most often are, how do I fast for longer? Or how do I get past X hours of fasting? And I'll tell you this, if you've been implementing parts 1 through 3 of this Fasting for Beginners series, you're probably already doing it. You've probably realized that it is just getting better naturally over time. Your fasts have already gotten longer and should be more tolerable at this point. I'm going to remind everyone right now to stop obsessing over just doing long fasts and nothing else. Building your fasting muscle, building your fasting experience isn't just because you have done a 7-day fast, a 14-day fast, a 5-day fast. Building your fasting muscle and building your fasting experience comes with shorter fasts as well. Obviously, the lengths of your fasts are going to be important. At the same time, what does a 7-day fast matter if the next 3 weeks after that is nothing? If you don't eat well, if you don't work out, then what does that 7-day fast really mean? This is why I think it's so important to not only time your fasts, but also time your refeeds. Be aware, be mindful of what you are doing. Because for me, I'm either fasting or I'm feasting. And when I am feasting, it's only for a short amount of time. Some people might be luckier than me and they can probably have an 8-hour refeed and not overeat, but for me, can't do it. That's still something I am working on. But one of the reasons I also prioritize the refeed length is because it will also help you lengthen your fast. I just want you to take this into consideration if your fasts aren't as long as you implemented or that you had planned, and then realizing, okay, well, I didn't fast for long, so I should refeed shorter. I should still keep building on the momentum. When people say something like they can't get past, say, 18 hours of fasting, I'll immediately shoot back with, sure you can. If you can fast for 18 hours, you can fast for 18 hours and 15 minutes. 18 hours and 30 minutes. That's building your fasting muscle. But Jerome, I want to fast for 36 hours. Yeah, I want to bench 300 at 135 pounds, but that isn't going to happen overnight. Joking aside, there is truth to that. And while sheer willpower and discipline can get you to fast for multiple days at a time, also remember that there is so much to be gained by doing shorter fasts and working on your other weight loss levers, such as your diet, your exercise, and your sleep. Do not forget about your other weight loss levers. This isn't just about fasting. You've heard me say it a million times. Yes, I know we all want to fast. We all want to be proud of ourselves for doing a 3-day fast, a 5-day fast, whatever. And by no means am I minimizing that at all, but I want you to remember that there are other things at play here. Your fasting length is important, but so is your refeed length. Your fasting length is important, but so is the foods that you eat. Your fasting length is important, but so is your cardio, so is your strength training, so is your sleep. And a really good reminder to people who want to emulate the 90-hour fast that I was doing, you have to understand, I was doing 90-hour fasts because I eat 6,000 calories, 7,000 calories. I was fasting for that long because that was the way to keep the weight off. If you aren't eating that many calories, you probably don't need to fast for that long. I'm not saying that you can't, but I am sure you will find a downward trend on the scale if you even fast for a shorter amount of time if you're not eating the way I typically do. Now consider what your refeeds look like before you start your next fast. If they're full of empty calories and you're not getting enough nutrient-dense foods in you, you're probably going to have a hard time. Now, I'm not saying that you can't eat empty calories. You've all seen me eat and seen the share of empty calories I have put in me during my refeeds, but that's usually in conjunction with good foods too. Hell, my last refeed this past Saturday was full of beer and cheese fries. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling a little bit at 38 hours in, and this is a 65-hour fast I'm working on. And that's because I didn't get the protein that I usually consume during my refeeds, the fruits and vegetables I normally consume on my regular refeed days. Listen, this Saturday was not what I expected. I didn't expect to drink that much. I didn't expect to get drunk. But it happened. I was having a good time. I was out with friends. Shit happens. Typically, after I go home, when I drink that much, I will eat more. I'll eat more of the healthier foods I want to eat. But I was so drunk when I got home, I was literally just falling asleep trying to eat what I could. Kind of funny, but also pretty awful when I woke up in the middle of the night hungover. And then in the morning when I realized, oh my God, I didn't even get enough protein in me, enough dietary fiber in me. And so I'm paying the price today because here I am around 40 hours fasted and I'm hungrier than normal. But I also know I have the reserves, I have extra fat on me, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna make it till tomorrow. I just say this because I want to remind you about the importance of eating things that are nutrient dense. Yes, I eat a lot of shit food, I eat a lot of processed foods, but it isn't as bad as it used to be. I also just mentioned this because I don't want you to be so hard on yourself thinking that you have to eat the cleanest foods all day, every day. We're human, I get it, it's okay, you're gonna be fine. And for anyone who's watching this who eats super clean, then keep doing you. But there definitely is an importance when it comes to your diet. This is something that I have known my entire life. It's just been hard for me to implement. And I feel really lucky that I have been showing up day after day after day because now I can actually do it and it actually is tasty to eat the way I eat. But don't beat yourselves up if you're new to this and that's not the way you're eating right now. I mean, I was literally 38, 39 when I started to actually eat vegetables on a regular basis. And then for 2 years, I didn't eat any of that because I locked myself in this apartment and gained all the weight back. So remember, don't beat yourselves up too much because you don't want to be stuck in your apartment for 2 years, depressed and not doing anything and gaining all the weight back because you weren't being accountable. You weren't showing up. You had that all or nothing mindset. And understand this, many of us eat out of habit, especially when we're bored, especially at night after a long day's work, or when we're stressed or we're emotional. It's habitual, but you can break that cycle. Think about what's triggering you to eat, or even when it's triggering you to eat, and then remind yourself that it's in your head. If you're eating out of boredom, it's in your head. It isn't a I can't function right now if I don't eat type of deal. But if you truly physically can't, break your fast. Otherwise, stay busy and do other things that reward you outside of food. If you're eating out of stress or emotion, you know it's in your head. It isn't a I can't function if I don't eat right now. And if it is, if it truly is a physical type thing, then break your fast. Otherwise, find other ways to cope. And I'm not saying it's easy. We all know that habits are incredibly difficult to break. And it's definitely something that will take time to break. But even for me, something as simple as drinking a Diet Coke or putting a pinch of salt under my tongue can help stave the hunger away. Utilize your hacks to prolong your fast. Go back to part 2 if you need more info on that. But Jerome, drinking diet, then don't drink it. Find another hack, drink something else like a sparkling water, or just break your fast and move on with your life. Build a routine. On my fasting days, when I wake up, I go for my walk, I work out, I stay busy working, coaching, editing videos, learning new skills. I'm currently learning how to speak Japanese. Konnichiwa, hajimemashite, dozo yoroshiku. Find things that are rewarding other than food. Continue to find motivation. Keep busy. Seek out new reward systems. Build your routine and stick to it. These are things I will go over in detail in the future. And don't forget to give yourself grace. Just because you did an 18-hour fast on Monday doesn't mean that Tuesday has to be 19 hours. Wednesday has to be 20 hours. It can be if you want, but don't feel bad about pulling back if you have to. There's nothing wrong with pushing a long fast and building that sheer willpower and discipline to keep going. What I'm trying to say is practice imperfect consistency. Show up every day, be honest with yourself, and hold yourself accountable. If you need additional help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can find one-on-one coaching with me in my profile, in my bio, or in the link of this description. I'll see you in the next one. Happy fasting, everyone.